The wind howled through the bare trees as December gripped the small town of Maple Ridge in icy silence. Snowflakes drifted gently over tidy lawns and festive lights, blanketing the world in a deceptive calm. Inside a modest yellow house at the corner of Birch Street, 29-year-old Ellie Harper tugged her cardigan tighter around her shoulders and peered out the frosted kitchen window. She had just made hot cocoa for her 5-year-old son, Jamie, when she noticed something unusual movement. Near her detached garage, her first thought was fear. She was a single mother, her husband taken too soon by a car accident 3 winters ago. Since then, she'd learned to be cautious. But then she looked again. A man, disheveled, and barely clothed for the freezing weather, was slumped against the garage door. Instinct overruled fear. Ellie rushed out, boots crunching in the snow, her breath visible in the bitter air. Sir, are you okay? The man didn't move at first, but when he turned, she saw eyes tired but alert. Haunted maybe. Still proud. I am sorry, he said, voice raspy. I wasn't trying to break in. Just needed somewhere, out of the wind. Something in his voice softened her. You're freezing. Come with me. He shook his head. Just let me stay here tonight. In the garage, I won't cause trouble, I swear. Ellie hesitated, glancing back at the house where her son was playing with Legos on the floor. Okay, she said quietly, just one night. There's an old blanket inside, and a heater. Let me get them for you. The man, who introduced himself only as Tom, smiled faintly, though he looked as if he hadn't truly smiled in years. That night, as Ellie tucked Jamie into bed and told him the story of the kind bear who let the lost fox stay in his cave, she thought of Tom. Who was he really? Why was he out here in this quiet town? And why did his eyes look like they'd once known more comfort than cardboard and back alleys? She brought him soup and bread. He thanked her, barely meeting her eyes. She noticed he refused to eat with his hands, even though he was clearly starving. He waited for her to hand him a spoon. Something about him didn't add up. The next day. The snowstorm intensified, schools shut down, and no one ventured outside. Ellie assumed Tom would be gone by morning, but he stayed, quiet, polite, distant, out of an inexplicable trust. She allowed him to remain in the garage. Over the next few days, Jamie grew curious. Who's the man in the garage, Mommy? A traveler, she said gently, someone who needed a warm place to rest. Jamie, bright and kind-hearted, began leaving little drawings on the garage door. One morning, Ellie found a note in return. In perfect handwriting, it read, thank you, your son has a beautiful imagination. Who was this man? On the 4th evening, Ellie came out with dinner. This time, Tom was sitting on an old crate, staring into the space heater, his face shadowed and unreadable. She handed him a plate of roasted chicken, and for the first time, he asked her a question. Why are you helping me? She paused. Because you looked like you needed help. Because I've needed help before too. He studied her. People don't usually do that. Help strangers. Well, she said, maybe more people should. His face broke slightly, as if something long buried cracked open. He whispered, I used to believe that before everything fell apart. And then he told her carefully, reluctantly. He had once been Thomas Green, founder of a successful architectural firm in Chicago, a millionaire by 35. But he'd lost it all, first his wife to cancer, then his daughter in a fire he blamed himself for. Depression followed, then alcohol, then lawsuits. His company crumbled. His world collapsed. He had disappeared from everything: family, friends, the press. Now, no one looked for him. He had become a ghost. Ellie was stunned, but she didn't flinch. She simply sat beside him and offered him a cup of tea. Over the next week, the storm refused to relent. The whole town seemed to be on pause, and in that quiet pocket of time, something unexpected bloomed in the garage. Trust, then laughter, then moments of reflection shared over grilled cheese sandwiches and borrowed books. Jamie took to Tom, like a magnet, often dragging him out into the snow to help build forts or snowmen. Tom, surprisingly, obliged. Ellie watched from the porch, coffee in hand, unsure what it was she was feeling: affection, hope, whatever it was, she hadn't felt it in years. One night, Ellie came into the garage and found Tom sketching something on a pad of paper. She peeked over his shoulder. It was a drawing of her house, reimagined, with elegant lines, a new deck, skylights, and a wraparound porch. It was breathtaking. I've been dreaming of rebuilding, he said softly. Not just houses, myself. Ellie touched his arm gently. You already have. A week after Tom first arrived, the sun finally broke through the clouds. Maple Ridge glistened under a layer of melting snow, like a town reborn. Inside her modest kitchen, Ellie sipped coffee. the warmth spreading through her fingers as she looked out at the garage. Tom had just helped Jamie build a small snow ramp and was cheering him on as the boy slid down on a baking tray. The sight made her smile till her phone buzzed. A news alert. She read the headline twice. Missing architect tycoon Thomas Green possibly spotted in small Ontario town. The article included a blurry photo. Him, on her street, with Jamie. Her hands trembled. She rushed outside. Tom, he turned, his smile fading when he saw her expression. You lied to me? She said quietly, holding up her phone. His face fell. Ellie, I never meant to. You never meant for me to know, she finished, eyes brimming. You told me your name, your story, but you left out that the whole world was looking for you. He exhaled slowly. I thought if people knew who I was, they'd see the headlines, not the man. I was tired of being the failure millionaire. I wanted someone to care, without the money in the picture. Ellie looked away. And I did. But now, I don't know what's real. Tom stepped forward. This is real. But before she could answer, there was a knock at the front door. The media descended on Maple Ridge like vultures circling a long-lost treasure. Reporters camped outside her house. Drones buzzed over her backyard. Paparazzi chased Tom down the street. They wanted interviews, photos, scandals. Tom tried to protect Ellie and Jamie, begging the press to stay away from them, but the story was out. Millionaire homeless in mom's garage. Made for irresistible headlines. And then came the offers. Networks wanted to buy her story. Brands wanted her to endorse kindness campaigns. One tabloid even suggested she and Tom had been in a secret, romantic affair. Jamie's face was everywhere. Ellie was furious, hurt, overwhelmed. Tom decided to leave. He packed his things, just a backpack and a small notebook of sketches. Anne stood at her door. I didn't mean to bring this into your life. You gave me warmth when I had nothing. I'll never forget that. Tears welled in Ellie's eyes. Jamie clung to his leg. Will we see you again? Her son asked. Tom crouched and kissed Jamie's forehead. One day, when it's quieter, he looked at Ellie. Thank you for seeing the man, not the mess. Then he left. Days passed. Reporters moved on. The garage sat still and quiet again. Jamie missed him, so did Ellie. But life continued. School runs, work, evening cocoa. She wondered where he was, what he was doing, if he'd ever rebuild that house he dreamed of. Then, 3 months later, a letter arrived. No return address, just a hand-drawn sketch of a 2-story home. With Jamie and Ellie drawn on the porch. Inside was a simple note. Greater than, for the woman who gave a broken man shelter and showed him how to live again. This home is yours. Just say yes. I've already built it. Ellie gasped. Attached was a deed. The property was in Maple Ridge, 10 minutes away. And just below the signature. P.S. There's a treehouse in the back. Jamie's idea. They moved in a month later. It wasn't a mansion. It was something better, filled with light, warmth, and laughter. Jamie ran barefoot across wooden floors and climbed into the treehouse every afternoon. And then, one spring evening, as Ellie watered her daffodils, a familiar voice called from the gate. Tom stood there clean-shaven, dressed in simple jeans and a sweater, holding a basket of fresh apples. I promised I'd come back when it was quieter. He smiled. Ellie laughed through her tears. You're late. He stepped closer. But I'm home. One night. One garage. One act of kindness. It didn't just change a man's life, it saved it. And in return, he didn't give her riches or headlines. He gave her something far more lasting, a future built on grace, second chances, and love born from humility. In a world that often forgets the power of compassion, Ellie remembered, and because of her, so did Tom. And so, in a quiet town in Maple Ridge, a once homeless millionaire and a once heartbroken mother built something the world couldn't capture in headlines. Home.